Okay, let's try this again because my computer cut off. I'm not sure what happened. Um, Anyways, so Erin Santos, I'm going to go over some of our Goldwell Blonde series. So just to highlight one more time what we're going to talk about in this video, we are going to go over the high lifts, which is our 11 and 12 series. We're going to go over our special lift, which is our Neutralites. And then we're going to touch on our lighteners, which is our Silk Lift and our Oxycure. And then we're going to touch on my favorite, which is Blonding Cream. It's kind of a secret weapon almost. So diving right into our high lift, we have two products in our high lift series. Our first one being our 11 series. Our 11 series is going to give you up to 4 levels of lift. It's a single process, so that means it's going to lift and tone at the same time. It comes in 9 shades, anywhere from a fashion shade to a control shade. It's going to give you a warm golden tone, but also a cool fashion blonde. Our 12 series is going to give you up to 5 levels of lift. It also is a single process, so that means it lifts and tones at the same time. It comes in 3 shades, which is 12BN, 12BS, and 12BM. So diving a little bit deeper, I'm going to scoot this up just a little bit so you can see better. There we go. Okay, so diving a little bit deeper into our 11 and 12 series. Our 11 series is our warm golden. Like I said, it's going to give you warm golden blondes and cool blondes. Our 12 series is the highest lightening, but it also is going to give you just a brilliant clear blonde. So that really is going to be designed for your darker tones. The 11 series has a higher pigment concentration, where the 12 series actually has a fine pigment concentration, which helps with just really soft contouring. The 11 series, like I said, is going to give you up to 4 levels of lift, even on a lighter brown. So that means if you start at a level 7, a level 6, you can easily get to a level 10 using the 11 series if formulated correctly. The 12 series, you're going to get no gray band on fine or previously lightened hair, which is beautiful, especially if you are using a cooler tone. And again, like I said, 5 levels of lift with the 12 series. And really cool, you can add the blonding cream, like I said, our secret weapon we're going to talk about at the end. You can add that into your 11 and 12 series for an extra level to level and a half of lift. So, still talking about our 11 series, we measure our 11 and 12 series, which is our high lift. We measure that standard mixing ratio of 40 mils of lotion to 20 mils of color. So that means 2 parts lotion to 1 part color. We always use Top Chic Developer when we use these because it is within the Top Chic line. So you want to say your developer should match whatever color segment you're using. So with these, we recommend that you use 9%, which is 30 volume, or 12%, which is 40. And that's going to be 20 mils of color with 40 mils of lotion. Processing time is 45 minutes without heat or 30 minutes with an open air processor only. So no hood dryers with these. Diving into our special lift, which is our Neutralites. Neutralites is designed for darker shades. So those clients that are a natural level 4 that maybe want some really pretty kind of J-Lo highlights, this would be key for them. What's cool about them, what's interesting about this as well is it is the single process. So it's going to lift and tone just like the high lift series that we just talked about. Besides, it is designed for levels 2 through 5. It comes in 2 shades, a violet ash or an ash ash. Your violet ash is designed for levels 4 and 5. Your ash is designed for levels 2 through 5. You're going to get 4 levels of optimum protection, 4 levels of lift with optimum protection, meaning those 4 levels that you're going to get like protection 100%. The hair is going to be in great condition. It's going to be shiny. It's going to be consistent. You're not going to get spotty. And then it also, because they are both controlling tones in this, both of them are going to help to neutralize any underlying pigment as well. Neutralites, just like our High Lift, is mixed 2 parts lotion to 1 part color. And again, always use Top Chic lotion with the Top Chic line. It is mixed. We recommend using a 9% or 12%, which is our 9% is 30 volume, 12% is 40 volume. It's going to process for 30 minutes, open air processor only. No hood dryers on this as well. Now, moving right along, diving into our lighteners. We have 2 different lighteners, but within the lighteners we have Silk Lift has 4 subcategories, and then OxyCure Platine has 2. So let's start with Silk Lift. Silk Lift has Strong, Gentle, Ash Control, and Beige Control. I color coordinated them just for visual for me. It helps when I'm presenting, but it also helps when I'm learning the product. And then OxyCure has OxyCure Platine Dust Free and then OxyCure Platine Ultra. So starting with our Silk Lift Strong is the blue. It does contain ammonia. It's going to give you up to 7 levels of lift. It has an anti-yellowing system, which is going to help to neutralize any unwanted warmer tones as you're lifting. It has Shield technology, but it's also designed for normal to resistant hair. That's not to be said that it can't be used on finer hair. Just manufacturer recommends on a more resistant, maybe like a thicker, coarser hair. Gentle, which is pink, and it's also in the bottle, or excuse me, in the tub, it has a pink label on it. It has no ammonia. It is up to 5 levels of lift, and it's designed for the fine, stressed-haired client. But it also can be used on natural or pre-colored hair. So if you have somebody who, say, is a level 7 and their hair is a little bit more delicate than somebody who has super coarse, thick hair like myself, I personally would use Strong on me, but I have enough hair for a horse, plus some. The Silk Lift has its own lotion, so we want to stay with that. Like I said before, you always want to use whatever lotion is designated to that segment that you're using. So our Silk Lift is mixing is 35 mils of lotion. We always measure lotion first and then powder. So 35 mils of lotion, 1 scoop of powder, which is 25 mils. And then with the Silk Lift Strong and the Gentle, you can add up to 3 pumps of the Silk Protein Serum. And that just gives you a little bit of extra protection when you're doing lifting. All of the Silk Lift Developer is a cream base, so it gives you a really nice creamy consistency when mixed correctly. It comes in a 3%, 6%, and 9%. Again, 10 volume is 3%, 20 volume is 6%, and 30 volume is 9%. Now, we have another category within our Silk Lift, which is our Silk Lift Control, and that comes also in 2 subcategories. Our first subcategory is our Silk Lift Ash, and that is going to give you a cooler finish. So it's designed for levels 5 through 7, a natural level 5 through 7, and it's going to give you a cooler result without warmth. It's going to give you up to 7 levels of lift, and it's going to give you a cooler tone on a lighter level 7. But it's going to give you a more neutral cool tone on a darker level 5. Our Silk Lift Control Beige is a neutral blonde without warmth. So it's a true neutral blonde result. It's designed for natural levels 6 through 8, but can also be used on pre-colored. You're going to get a more true neutral tone on a lighter level 8, or a clearer neutral tone on a darker level 6. With our Silk Lift Control, we have tone stabilizer drops that you'll add to both of those when mixing. So those are mixed very similar to the Silk Lift Strong and Gentle, but instead of adding the Silk Protein drops, you're going to add the tone stabilizer to those. Our OxyCure Platine. I call this like the old lady of Goldwell. It has been around since the beginning of time, I feel like. But obviously it's still here and it's still used very frequently, so that should kind of speak for it, I feel like. Within Oxycure Platine, we have two subcategories as well, one being dust-free and one being ultra. Ultra is kind of misconceiving because it's really not ultra as in like ultra strong. It's as in ultra gentle. So starting with the dust-free, this is a blue powder. It's a fast-lifting and powerful, so you want to be careful. Maybe if your client does have more fragile hair, maybe try Silk Lift instead of Oxy. Oxy is designed for that client that really wants texture, wants to feel like they have their hair highlighted. It is a powder gel consistency. So it starts out as a powder. Once you add your lotion to it and mix it, it turns to a slight gel-like consistency, I feel like. It's going to give you 7 levels of lift, and it also is a blue powder. So it's going to help with any anti-yellowing. One thing that I do personally whenever I'm using Oxycure is, especially if I'm highlighting in a foil with it, I do open the packet and scrape a little bit of the lightener off just so that I can check and get a true tone. Because it being blue, it can be a little bit deceitful. The Oxycure Platine Ultra, which is the gentle, like I said, it is a white granular consistency, so it's not a powder. It does mix a little bit thicker, I feel like. It does give you 7 levels of lift, and it's ammonia-free, which is awesome. And the Oxycure is going to be mixed with the Top Chic lotion. And like I said, blonding cream, that little secret weapon we don't talk, like we keep it in the back pocket. Blonding cream actually can be added to your Oxycure Platine for a more creamy consistency. You can add 5 to 10 mils of it. When mixing, you would do 35 mils of your lotion. So 3%, 6%, or 9%. We do not recommend 40 volume or 12% with Oxycure. To 1 level scoop of bleach. No heat is recommended because the product does or can swell slightly. So moving along to my favorite, blonding cream. Blonding cream comes in 2 tones. It comes in a blonding cream, and then it also comes in a blonding cream ash. Blonding cream contains absolutely no pigment. It is literally just to add a little bit of extra boost to your color, to your lighteners. The blonding cream ash, although does have corrective dye stuffs in it, so you are going to get a little bit more control with that. You can add it to any Top Chic formula, levels 2 through 10, and get an extra half a level to a level lift, depending. It can also be added to the 11 and 12 series, if you remember, like I talked about earlier. If mixed alone, it is mixed 2 parts lotion or 2 parts developer lotion to 1 part blonding cream. This you do not ever want to apply to the scalp if using it alone. If you are adding it to, say, like a level 8 or a 9, just for a little bit of extra control, you can add up to 50% of it as your formula, but be very careful putting it on the scalp if you are using like a 20 or 30 or volume. It can add a little bit of irritation. So real quick, let's recap and talk about, kind of go over what we talked about. If you remember, we started with our high lift. We know that our high lift, I just wrote highlight, has 2 shades, or 2 levels, I'm sorry. It has an 11 and a 12. It can be mixed with 6%, 9%, or 12%. Excuse me, not 6%. Rewind. It can be mixed with 9% or 12%. Our Neutralites, which is going to be used for those darker levels. Remember, JLo highlights, perfect for those. It comes in 2 options, and it is designed for levels 5 through 2, or 2 through 5. What did we do next? Silk Lift. Our Silk Lift has 4 options. Right? So we have strong, gentle, and then we have our control subcategory, which has ash and beige. And again, if you remember, Soap Lift has its own lotion, cream developer, that can be mixed with that. With your Soap Lift Strong and your Gentle, you have your serum. With these two, you have Tone Stabilizer. And finally, our OxyCure has two, right? It has OxyCure Ultra, and then it also has Dust Free. You're going to use Top Chic Developer with them. And last but not least, we have our blonding cream, our little secret weapon. You can add up to 50% to your formula, right? You can add it to your High Lift. And you can add it to your OxyCure. And if you remember, you can also use it alone. So, one more time, just to recap, we went over our High Lift series, which is two levels. You have an 11 and you have a 12. We went over our Neutralites, which is for those perfect JLo highlights on that darker tones. We went over our Soap Lift, and then we also dove a little bit deeper into all 4 subcategories. We went into our OxyCure, into their subcategories as well. And then we've rounded it off with blonding cream. Thank you so much for watching this super fast video, and I hope you learned something. Mwah!